another episode of the Black Man's Roundtable.
This is Kevin Evans, one of the co-moderators.
And I am Rodney Butler. I am your co-host for today. And today we have a special guest. We have Mr. Terry Searcy, who is running for the District 3 Commissioner seat, the coveted District 3 Commissioner seat here in Douglas County. And we're going to conduct, like we usually do, we're going to conduct an interview tonight of Mr. Searcy. And but before we get started with our questions, Terry, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
I am Terry Searcy. I've been in Douglas County District 3 for almost 30 years. I retired from the FBI almost 9 years ago. I also have been a community activist, and I own a business called it's called Studio T here in Douglas County. It's been there 13 years, integral part of the community. A lot of people know me through that. I do weddings, baby showers, and just all kinds of events. I host a lot of events there. I've had a lot of charities up there, and we also do what we call, I do it with a guy, I don't know if you know, his name is Henry Mitchell III, his name is Beanie. We do a lot of fundraisers, and we do a lot of charities, like we do barbershop haircuts, free haircuts. We feed the youngsters. We teach them how to play golf. We teach them how to play tennis. Just integral part of the community, wherever I'm needed, whenever someone calls and asks. And just kind of been around and really visible for a long time.
Great. Yeah, we actually interviewed Beanie on the Black Man's Roundtable. So, okay, well, look, before Kevin, if you don't have anything, I'm going to go ahead on and get started with our first part of our questioning. Okay, great. All right. Terry, our first category is going to be under your background and your qualifications. And the first question is,
Yes,
what motivated you to run for District 3 Commissioner?
One of the things was...
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, man, first name here, we're relaxed. Black Man's Roundtable, we chilling, man.
Okay, I just want to...
Yeah, I know.
You know, that's that Navy thing. You know, we always
that's
want to say,
okay.
sir,
That's
yes,
okay.
Sir, no, sir. And being in the bureau, that was always something we always had to say.
No,
Yes,
I'm good.
Yes, sir, no, sir. One of the good things, Rodney and Kevin, one of the main reasons I'm running is because I've watched Douglas County go from probably 60,000 people to 160, 70,000 people. Maybe I could be off on the numbers a little bit, but I've watched it grow exponentially. I mean, it has just went through the roof. Now, one of the things that began to concern me was, I have no problem with growth. One of the things that began to concern me was we had no master plan. We were just kind of putting things all over the place, and we were just kind of just everywhere. So I was like, wow, we have the opportunity to be a beautiful county. Not saying that we are now, but we have the opportunity to, I always say, my favorite saying is to be a black Smyrna Vinings. So a lot of times, and I don't want to say it, you know, because I don't want to use color to say that, but we just so happen to be a majority African American community. So that's why I'm referring to that. But I will be serving everybody. That's not a question. So I'll put it this way: we have the opportunity to lay out this county the way we want to lay it out. And one of the issues with me is we're laying it out as if we don't have a comprehensive plan. We're putting things everywhere. Just liquor stores here, warehouses there. And what it is, I found out we have 17 comprehensive plans between the city and the county, and we're not on the same page. It's time for us to come together and have a plan of growth to where we're not just putting businesses in places just to be putting businesses in places. So it's time to get control. So that made me come out. The tax increases. I fought one of the very first tax increases back when Tom Worthing was in in office, and he actually was attempting to raise funds for that jail. They love saying that they lowered the taxes and had the lowest taxes under them, but they they raised it probably about 5 meals to build that jail. So it was a big jump in a lot of people's property taxes. So that was one of the things that got me active. Just watching the management of the county over the years, not just the past years, over the years, over probably about 10 to 15 years, going all the way back to Rita Rayner Ward and Deborah Woody. Probably speaking my age now, but I've been fighting with them all the way back since then.
No, no,
Sorry
it's
about the
okay.
long.
It's okay.
I get very passionate about it. I'm sorry.
No, no, don't
I
apologize.
apologize.
You're passionate about what you're passionate about, and guess what? You're not the only one that feel the same way about a couple of things that you said. So no, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I'll move on to the next part two of background and qualifications. Can you briefly outline your relevant experience and qualifications for this role as the District 3 commissioner?
Well, one of the things I pride myself in is I've helped several people get elected to office that I thought would help um, get our area into under control. Sonia Compton was one. Greg Baker was another. Renee Godwin was another. Intimately involved in helping getting Tarenia Carthen elected, and also intimately involved in helping getting Ramona elected at the time when we had the incident with Mr. Wortham calling Tom out his name. But that's neither here nor there. So I couldn't really participate in it because the Bureau doesn't allow you to participate in politics. So I was only able to kind of, seam around the edges. But once I retired almost 12 years ago, I went full-fledged into ensuring that our politicians are held accountable on the.
Now, Terry, I don't mean
zoning
to,
board,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I
even
may
Parks
have
and
missed
Rec
it
board.
because I was adjusting something on the other computer. When you say the Bureau, did you specify what you mean by the Bureau? Okay,
The
all
Federal
right.
Bureau of Investigation.
Right,
when
okay. I
was
want you
working
to
with
make
them.
sure you specify that, okay?
So,
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I couldn't. We're not
Right.
allowed to dwell in politics. So I kind of, just I couldn't donate to people and do and give them things. But what I did was I became a serious community activist. So we used to have to fill out these forms to notify them that we're doing community work. So I became a serious community activist. That's why a lot of people actually know me from my just my community activity and being involved in politics on the local level and having a lot of things to say. So I never thought about running for office. Never came to my mind. It was just this is my community, and I wanted to make sure it was growing in a proper way because when I moved here, I knew it was going to be a great place to live. So I immersed myself in ensuring that it was going to be a great place to live.
Okay, great. Before we move on to Kevin, which is going to talk about understanding your role, this is not for you, Terry. It's mainly for my audience. And when you say that when you apologize for, or not apologize, when you say, you talked about. You talked about you didn't want to use race, and then you said, "Well, I'm running for everybody, right? I'm running this race for everybody." And again, I'm not speaking to you so much as I am speaking to the audience because I know what kind of questions and concerns I'm going to get from that. I think that too often when black politicians like yourself bring up, race, they feel like they have to remind everybody that they are running for everybody, and so I want my audience to know that yes, I think it's also unnecessary. I think you don't have to do that because nobody else have to do that, right? Even though people might say, well, I'm running for. At the end when they win, they'll say I'm everybody's president or I'm everybody's commissioner, right? But not while
Right.
not while
Right,
not while you're
right,
running.
right.
Don't apologize, for being who you are,
Right.
and don't feel like you need to make any kind of concessions to it. We we assume that you're gonna, even though you're a black man, you run for everybody. So I just want my audience to know that, because I know they're gonna a couple of good questions from that. Okay, all right, Kevin, you got it, brother.
Right. That's a good point, Rodney. But too often, it still gets misconstrued that it's only looking out for one side of the crayon box. So, okay, my question is, under understanding your role, what in your view are the primary responsibilities for the role of county commissioner?
The primary responsibility of a commissioner is oversight. Period. Stop. It's oversight. It's oversight in ensuring that the departments that are under it are running in tip-top shape on financial, doing his job, dealing with the supervisor. So to me, its primary goal is oversight. I don't want to try to make that into anything other than that. My job as a commissioner is to ensure that that department head or that department is spending that taxpayers' money properly. And any program that we have that's not being useful to us, it's our job to point those things out. And it's our job to also, when oversight, to say to planning and zoning, to say all of them, say, hey, what are we doing here? Where are we going with this? So as they say, he who controls the money controls the whole pot. So my thing is oversight and accountability is what I feel as a commissioner I'm there for. I'm there to ensure that the people's money is spent properly and is not being abused, and there's no funny stuff going on. I know that's probably corny the way I say that, but I really am a person who believes in accountability. I believe in it. I'm not saying I'm accountable and I'm a perfect person, but I believe in accountability. And that's what I believe a commissioner is sent there to do, to represent those people of District 3, their interests.
Gotcha.
No,
Anything
sir.
from you, Rodney? On that one? Okay. Next part of that question, sir. Excuse me. How familiar are you with the current challenges and opportunities facing District 3 and our county?
District 3 has some issues. We don't have the issues of a District 2 or maybe a District 1. Whereas District 3, 88% of the homes are located in District 3 that are inside of Douglas County. So you're dealing more with tabletop issues as far as taxes. But one of the big issues that I know is widening Chapel Hill Road. I can't make the promise that I'm going to be the savior and widen Chapel Hill Road, but we can come up with a plan. There's some environmental issues with Chapel Hill Road that's causing the delay. Now, what I have to do is I have to fight as a commissioner and understand. When I say fight, I mean, I've seen some deals struck, whereas, in Punkerton Road, a commissioner might vote for the library on Punkerton Road in order to get a senior center in his district, his or her district. So if you have to negotiate, as long as it's not killing somebody or causing some harm to your constituents, you're going to have to compromise a little bit. But the main thing for me is the traffic and the inflation. I mean tax rate increases, and code enforcement for me. Code enforcement for me was one of my things when I ran for chairman. So I don't know if you guys, probably about 3-4 years ago, I ran against Ramona. I think it was in 2016. But that was during the COVID time frame. One of my biggest things was code enforcement, because one of my dreams as a commissioner, or when I was running for commission chairman, was to make every home in this county worth $500,000. The only way we're going to get better and create wealth in Douglas County is to bring up the value of everyone's home. So guess
Terry,
what that
Terry,
means? That means
Terry, not to cut you off.
we
You said
have to
every
have
home
a
in the
strong-
county,
Yes, sir.
$500,000 or District 3?
I would
Every
like
single
every
home.
home. I would like every home.
Okay.
I would like every home, and we can do it. We can do it. I'll tell you how we can do it, because Smyrna has done it. Smyrna has done it. Smyrna Vinings has done it. You got Gwinnett, they've done it. I remember when I first moved here, those homes were going for $70,000. Now you try to move out to Gwinnett and Kennesaw and all those areas. We just have to build it properly. So my job as a commissioner would be to ensure that, to work with the other commissioners to ensure that we bring property values up. Because guess what? That's how wealth is created. And us being a 70% African American community, that is major for me, to create that wealth. There's nothing like a father or a mother or a grandmother being able to leave their child a home that they purchased for $70,000 and it has a value of $500,000. That is the transference of wealth. I'm not talking about anything else but building up my community. So I don't care, like you say, I don't really care about what goes on in other cities, but I can take what other cities and counties have done and learn from what they've done. And that's going to entail a comprehensive master plan with a serious plan at attracting some serious industries, not warehouse jobs, but jobs like companies like Johnson & Johnson. I know for a fact Johnson & Johnson is looking for a place to build their new facility for vaccines. I would love to go fight for that. Those jobs average $80,000 to $90,000 per job. Some of them are six figures. The jobs that we're bringing, they're $15, $20 an hour jobs. And guess what? A majority of that money that's coming in Douglas County is leaving because they can't afford to live here. So it's going back to the West End. They're catching buses and Ubers back home. They're coming and working here, but they're going back home. So my job is to create wealth for us. And it's not hard. There's nothing that's hard. We can do it. We just have to come together to do it.
Okay. Yeah. So
Are you right?
I do have one kind of question before we move on to the next category. I live in District 3, so I watch every single thing that you're talking about that's happening over here in District 3. And I live in the city. So
Yes, sir.
when you say that I want you to be a little bit more specific when you say that the widening of Chapel Hill Road, there are environmental issues. Can you say, do you know exactly what at least one or two of those environmental issues are?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, you good.
I didn't mean to overtalk you, Rodney. I apologize. One of the issues is there are some streams and creeks that are protected by the state of Georgia that you're gonna have to get permission to get that taken off. And plus, one of the other major issues are, and I hate to say this, there are a lot of houses on that road that are gonna have to be bought to widen that road properly, to do it properly. I'm not saying just do something. So you're gonna have to, those that don't want to sell, you're gonna have to think about eminent domain. And because for the greater good of the the people in that area, you're gonna have to take some of those houses on there. I don't know how many. I looked at the study, but they didn't give an actual amount. But they were looking at anywhere from 20 to 30% of the houses having to be purchased to widen that road properly, to do it, to do it right. Because that road gets over in a week or a month, probably 30 to 40,000 cars come through there. Because we have counties cutting through there. We got Cobb, we got Fulton, we got people coming through that way. So that is something that's going to be major. But in the short term, and this is a plan, and I probably shouldn't say it out loud, but that's okay. I hope people will hold me accountable for what I say. One of my main things is, if you can't widen the road right away, let's get serious about some turning lanes. Let's widen these turning lanes so that way when someone turning left, you're not sitting there waiting for that person to turn left for an hour. And if we have a wreck on that road, there are some lanes that we can move some cars out of the way to continue traffic going. Because I went from being here almost 30 years ago to getting up on a Saturday morning and driving straight up to Target in like 5 or 10 minutes. But you get up on a Saturday morning now at the wrong time, you're going to be in that traffic for a while, or an accident
Oh,
happens.
it's taking.
It's going to be bumper to bumper.
Yes, sir. It is.
And you're going to be all the way
It is
back
taking
on the
me
2-lane
35, 40 minutes one
two lane
time to
road.
get from the Chapel Hill subdivision to Walmart. It has taken that long. So,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, you're right. There's a lot of,
and
and I
it's a
do it just
shame.
about every day. There's a lot of illegal turns that you have to make on Chapel Hill Road in order to get to, in order to turn left. You just have to
Yes.
make illegal turns because, so yeah. Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna move on. The next category is community engagement. How do you plan to engage with How do you plan to engage with and represent the diverse interests of our community? And that's our community as a whole, not just District 3, but our community as a whole.
Yes. Well, one of the main things is a lot of politicians talk about being seen. You don't see your local politicians at the Walmarts and the IHOPs and the. You don't see them a lot of times because a lot of times our politicians don't want to be seen. So they're going to go late at night when they think no, the crowd's not there, or they're going to shop probably a county over. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to make a conscious effort to shop in your community. You have to make a conscious effort to be out and about. And wearing this name tag is not only for when you're running. You should be letting everybody know, hey, I'm your commissioner. It's also, one of my major plans is this. And I wanted to do this plan a long time ago. And I'm going to give Kelly Robinson this. It's nothing new. I saw it and I just thought about what he did. I'm going to give him his props. He did something in District 2 that was amazing. He met quarterly with his HOA representatives. And he knew exactly what they needed. So one of the things that I want to do with my aide, one of the first things that I'm going to do, I'm going to get with all the HOAs within District 3, or a representative from a neighborhood, someone that speaks for that neighborhood. And I want everybody's email address. I want everybody's phone number, if they're willing to do it. And I want to meet with those neighborhoods as much as I can quarterly with the HOAs. And as I can, or a representative, go to those HOA meetings. Because I need to know not only what Chapel Hill needs, I need to know what Spring Pine needs. I need to know what Willow North needs. I need to know those old neighborhoods, what they're thinking, because they're feeling like they're being left behind. And sometimes people, they're angry at the system, but the anger that they're having is because they don't know. So transparency and me being able to, when we pass a budget or we make a vote, me being able to email that out to people right away and say, hey, and put my picture with it. So when you see me out in town, you come up to me. You walk up to me. Transparency is going to be the king. It's going to be the key. Because one thing that I've learned, if the people lift you up, no one can tear you down. They'll take care of you. Every time they try to topple you, and when you stand up for them, they'll make sure they have your back if you do the right thing. So, and I also, one of the tricks to this thing is, and I hate to say this, they'll have their community meeting when they first get elected. They'll have their first community meeting. It'll be a big one. Everybody will come. They'll do it in a gym. They'll advertise. That very first meeting, once a commissioner gets elected, oh man, they want that first one. And then that first one happens, and they begin to realize what they got themselves into. The fussing, the meanness, the people just haven't seen their person that's in charge of that area. Is just overwhelming for them. And then what you'll begin to see as they're in office longer, they'll matriculate from a gymnasium, they'll go down to a 10-room. They'll not really advertise it. They'll throw it up the previous day. All this advertising that they're doing while they're running, they can do the same thing. They can do it the same way when they're in office to ask for these community meetings. So it's about not hiding anymore. It's time for our politicians to stop hiding. Stop hiding and stop only hanging out with your friends. And stop only hanging out with people who you think can get you votes. And that's the problem I see. So I don't want to hide anymore. I want to have meetings and I want to advertise them. I want to put I remember when Tarina first got elected, and this is not a slight against Tarina because she's still having her meetings. She she had it at my place at Studio T. And when both doors were open, it held 350 people. She had both doors open and we couldn't even fit all the people in there. I commend her how she advertised it. She put those stop sign stakes, those metal ones, they were everywhere. And she put it on her page. She put it on the DC page. She had people sharing it constantly. And when I was so shocked when I got to my facility and there was over 600 people trying to get in that building, I didn't have enough space. But that needs to stay that way because that means there's pain out there and people need to talk to the person that can help alleviate that pain. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're in the wrong job. You're in the wrong job.
We hear you. And what I can tell you is that Kevin and I, we are, after you and everybody who's, going to, get elected, we're going to continue to do the Black Man's Roundtable. We're going to continue to send out invitations for candidates, well, not candidates at this point, for seated politicians to come on to the roundtable and be, held accountable. So that's what we plan on doing, and so you can bet that. And
yes.
And Terry, I'm so glad you said that out loud because you get in that seat, we coming after you, brother. We coming after you. So absolutely.
I want you to. I promise you I want you to.
We appreciate it. Okay, so let me get to the second part. Well, actually, you know what? You already pretty much did the second part because you talked about the transparency. Well, the questions, I tell the people, the questions are designed to where hopefully the first topic, the first question under the topic kind of flows over, and they answer it. And so you did that very well. So, Kevin, I'm not going to talk about transparency. Terry talked about that enough. Kevin, it's on you, man.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm up now? Okay. Okay. Economic development. What is your vision for promoting economic development within District 3?
Yes, sir. District 3 is a very peculiar animal. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and
Man,
say
you're on the
it.
round table, man. You're on the round table. Let it out.
Anyway.
Just go and say it.
I'm going to say it anyway.
Because we got follow-up questions. Questions.
Yes, sir. All right, so since there's 88% homes in District 3, part of my overall plan is to bring things to District 3 that I probably wouldn't consider in too many other districts because the majority of the wealth, and I'm going to get in trouble when I say this, a majority of the wealth besides economic, commercial wealth resides in District 3. So District 3 deserves something. And I remember speaking with Chris Pumphrey, and I remember speaking with the other gentleman for economic development. His name skips me right now. And I said, where's our Whole Foods? Where's our Fresh Market? Where's our Sprouts? Where is that? Because that changes a community. When I ride, and I hate to keep using Smyrna Vinings, and I hate to keep using these other areas, but when I ride into Smyrna Vinings, there are live, work, play areas there, and they're surrounded by restaurants, cleaners, dry cleaners, dentists, and everything right there within that. So one of the things that I envision is bringing more upscale restaurants, more grocery stores, not Kroger's, not Publix. I'm talking about healthy options. One of the healthy options that I love is a place called Kale Me Crazy. Kale Me Crazy is a very healthy option. And then they are opening this other restaurant called Kavana. And Kavana, and I might be saying the name wrong, but it is a healthy option. Where are healthy options for that area? So if you're going to build something in District 3, I would ask that we build strip malls, but we build standalone stores in those strip malls to support what's going on around it. So I would try to bring, like I say, a Sprouts, and then go around it with the same mentality. Where's our Mediterranean
But Terry, not
seafood?
to cut you off, but
Where's our French
you talk about Vinings in these other areas, right? I know you said you're tired of talking about those areas, but listen. So
yes,
what is the Okay, so when you look at those areas you talk about, right? Okay, economically, those
Yes.
areas are very, very, very similar economically to District 3, Douglas County, right? But very similar, right? But we
Very
know the
similar.
difference, all right? We know the difference demographically
Right.
between Vinings and District 3 of Douglas County. And what I'm trying to say to you, brother, we cannot be afraid to say it out loud, because what I promise you is the listeners, I don't know about everybody else, but I do know the listeners of Black Man's Roundtable. Look, we have to say, the 500-pound elephant or the pink elephant or whatever it's called is in the room. And what I would tell you is, don't be afraid to say it, man. Everybody already know what it is, Terry. Everybody already know what it is.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, Rodney, let's get real then.
Okay,
I spoke with a couple gentlemen, right, that are in Douglas County, and one of the gentlemen is responsible for
that's
bringing.
good. Don't yeah,
I'm
don't
not
do
gonna
that.
call
Yep.
anybody out right now. Maybe when I get elected, I
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
I'm gonna call you out when I get elected, though. But but the thing is this: I had a conversation with a gentleman and his assistant, and I said I need to talk to you. And this gentleman afforded me a meeting, and he didn't have to. It was a favor. I called in a favor, and I sat down with him. And this gentleman is responsible for bringing in those type of things that Smyrna and Vinings have, and some of the other more wealthier communities. And he said, well, and I couldn't believe he said this to me. I gave him the numbers. I said, statistically, when you look at District 3 average income is $75,000 household. Smyrna Vinings is an $85,000 household. Disposable income pretty much in District 3 is around, because you'll make 75, but between bills and everything that you'll make, you'll have a disposable income of $30,000 to $40,000 a year in most cases. So I told him in the Smyrna Vinings area, they're 85, but their disposable income is at 31. Our disposable income in District 3 is at 45,000. So you're telling me that and I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now, as an African American, because it was a white gentleman I was speaking with, and I said, so you're telling me that my money is not more than that money over there. So what's the difference? You can attract that if you sell it the right way. You're not selling it the right way because you don't feel that that's an area that needed. And he said to me out his mouth, he said, this area don't
You see what I'm
deserve
saying?
it. Douglas County don't deserve that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's no longer with us because after that happened, I petitioned to get him fired. So I wrote him down until I couldn't ride him no more. So one of my problems is it's time for us to stop accepting
Exactly.
what they're giving us. And it's time for us to, and I don't mean this violently, but it's time for us to take it. And it's going to start with fiscal responsibility and getting ourselves on point. And so we're going to have to hold these, as a commissioner, we're going to have to hold these guys in charge of these departments. And I want them in my office and say, why? Why don't District 3 have this? Why? And I want to know now. And I'm going to have a community meeting and you're going to come explain to them why not. Because I want it.
Exactly. You know, they try to pretty up the avenue by changing Bankhead to Veterans Highway.
Right.
Same street.
Right.
Bankhead bounce all the way
Right.
through there.
Exactly
Don't try
the
us.
same thing.
Don't
even
try
it.
us.
And that's
No, Terry, I just want to
that's
say,
the-
look,
I'm sorry, Rodney. Go
like I said, I
ahead.
live in
I'm
District
running
3,
my mouth.
okay?
Go ahead.
And many of the listeners and the viewers of the Black Man's Roundtable live in District 3. Look, you talk about disposable income, okay? That's why I just want you to say, I tell people all the time, they ask, why is it called the Black Man's Roundtable? And I tell people this, right? It has to be called a black man's roundtable because we do not have the luxury to keep the black silent, okay? You can watch Good Morning America, and you don't have to say Good Morning White America because everybody at the table is going to be white, right? So what I'm saying is that what the audience want to hear, what the people want to hear in District 3, I live in District 3, I bought my house in 2009, okay? Yeah, I'm looking at the value go up and everything, and I appreciate that, but it should be even more than what it is, okay? It should be way more than what it is, but, somebody would say, well, my God, look at all the
Substantially
equity,
more.
look how much. No, it's not enough. It's not enough when you look at, like you said, Vine and Smyrna. And what I'm telling you, the
Nah.
people who look like me and you in District 3 are very, very passionate about, we know, like you said, look, if you have a high income bracket like that, then chances are you are a voter, okay? You're engaged because you
Right.
have
Right.
actualization in order to be
Right.
engaged, right? So what I'm saying to you is what I would tell you, and I would tell anybody that's
Right.
running for District 3, say the quiet part out loud. Because I promise you, the Republicans are always saying the quiet part out loud, and I don't know what people are holding back for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We know what's
Right.
going on over here in District 3. We know about the
Right.
disposable income. We all military guys, right? I have a bunch of retired military friends,
Right.
not friends, but people. Well, they are friends. Some of them are friends. Some of them I just know or whatever. That ends up out here in Douglas County in District 3. And like
Yeah.
you said, these guys got plenty of disposable income. But then they're like, why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? Some of the things that you're naming. So Kevin, this is your category. I'm not going to, get into it too deep. But Terry, I would, man, I'm telling you, say it out loud. Say it out
Gonna get it,
loud.
bro.
Stop holding it. Okay, Kevin.
Yes, sir. I got you. I got
Yeah, we just gotta stop being afraid of being proud of our achievements. You know, I come from the corporate world after retiring from the military. And oftentimes when I try to have a conversation with people of a corporate nature, I gotta forget some things I know just because I want to fit in to the crowd. But then I realize, you know, I'm making 180 to $200,000, just like you.
you. Right.
Why can't I be proud to tell you that and gotta whisper it
Right.
to
I
somebody
agree.
to say
I
what I
agree.
make? No, you know. And we talk about economic development. You already
Yeah.
answered a lot of those questions. But Mr. Terry, my thing is, and you kind of said it. I don't need no liquor store out here.
No.
I mean, I don't
Not
drink
at all.
anyway. I don't drink anyway, but I don't need a liquor store on every corner, a car wash, you know, and I don't need a convenience store that's ran by Indians and Chinese people. You know what I'm saying? I know I got some African Americans that can run the same store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not trying to be prejudiced, Rodney, or anything like that. But if we're gonna engage our community, have our community working in those thriving businesses.
Yeah.
You know, I need a Capital grill out here. Season
Exactly.
52. I need
Right.
something like that out here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I
100%.
spent my money yesterday over at Perimeter Mall to go to Season 52. That's a long drive.
It is.
That's a long drive.
It is. I
All
agree.
right.
And one of the things, Kevin, and I'm going to echo what you're saying. One of the things, and you're going to get to see how long I've been in this fight. One of the things is when the Republicans were in charge of Douglas County, a lot of the liquor stores, a lot of the car washes, and all those things weren't tried. So I'm gonna be.
Get
You
real.
want me to be real? I'm gonna be real. They weren't tried, and I'm not saying that the Republicans were better at it. No, they just felt the aura that they gave was don't come here with it. Don't try it. When you go to Smyrna, when you go to Viners, when you go to certain parts of Gwinnett, and you go to West Cobb, builders, developers, and certain stores know not to go over there playing with you. They know not to come with the mess. And if they do come with some mess, it's going to cost them so much money, it ain't going to be worth bringing the mess. So one of my things is a lot of the liquor stores, the car washes, and all of that stuff came, and it's gonna make people mad, but it came
Yes, sir.
shortly after we flipped the county. Let's speak now. Let's be real. Let's be
Right.
real, because all Democrats ain't Democrats. They don't have our best interests. So let's be honest now. All
Right.
Republicans ain't got our best interests. So let's just speak as people now. Let's just speak as people of Douglas County, as citizens of Douglas County. Those liquor stores, we went from 2 liquor stores to 14. We went from 5 car washes to 28. We went from 2 million square feet of warehouse to over 22 million square feet of warehouse. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? And it didn't happen under previous regimes. Why? Because we failed. We slipped. We slipped. We let some things get through the crack. When we took over, yes, they were just as worse. I'm not saying they were good. I'm not making them out to be heroes. What I'm saying is they were stifling Douglas County. They wouldn't only let certain businesses come in here. If it wasn't their friends, they didn't get to bring them in here. Let's just be honest now. So, because I know some steakhouses, I remember when the Alpine Steakhouse was open. They wouldn't let Longhorn come here for the longest because their best friend owned Alpine Steakhouse. So, one thing Kelly Robinson did, he opened Douglas County for business. But did we open it for the right business? Did we open it for the right business? Liquor stores, car washes, warehouses. What are we? So
No, go, no,
and
keep
I
going,
say
man.
this
I don't want you to. No,
I'm sorry,
keep going.
man. I
You on your?
apologize. Go ahead, sir. One of the things that happened to us is, and this is something that we don't seem to understand, and as a politician, either you're in on it or you're just not understanding it. You have to understand what's happening in West Georgia. West Georgia, this state is divided up before you even get started. The rich boys up there in the governor's mansion divided us up way long before we even got started. That's why Alpharetta has the technology corridor. That's why Atlanta and Druid Hills and Sandy Springs, all that land was owned by certain guys, and they wanted that. And West Georgia has been determined to be the warehouse capital. McDonough to Jackson County, anything west is going to be, everybody knows McDonough is the secondary overflow port for Savannah. That's what it is. That's why they're getting so many warehouses. We're getting so many warehouses, and I tell people this. I study this. So I'm going to say this right in, and if you give me a second,
Go ahead.
and Mr. Kevin,
You good?
if you guys give me a second, I'm going to explain this to you. Understand where you are. Every major city has 2 airports. When you think about New York, you think about Chicago, you think about LA, you think about everywhere. They have 2 major airports. Right now, out there in Dallas, Paulden, and Hiram, they've already commandeered 40,000 acres. They're clearing off 10,000 of it right now for another airport. There's going to be a secondary airport. We're sitting smack dab in the middle of Hartsfield, Jackson, and that new airport that's going out there. So guess what we are? We've been determined, West Georgia, South Fulton, everything. We've been determined to be the warehouse capital. To supply stuff to those 2 airports. That's why you're getting so many companies like SwitchX. You're getting Google. You're getting them all out here because guess what? We have the fastest internet in the entire South over there on Thornton Road. Right down Riverside Parkway. Why do you think that is? So their point of sale systems, so their tracking systems, their compass systems, so they can track the data for packaging and everything between the 2 airports. It's all being laid there. The foundation is being laid for you right there. So now, not only did GDOT come in, GDOT came in and redid your entire roads on the back end across the tracks. Widen that road, making it a 6-lane road, not a 4-lane, a 6-lane. Why do you think they're doing that? They're not doing that for us. That traffic is not even routed through Douglas County. That's why so many people got upset. Like, how does this interstate, this road that you just built going over across the tracks, it's confusing. Everybody's like, why is it doing that? It was the traffic was meant to avoid. Because you know why? it's going to be cars galore going to that second airport, because the second airport, just like every other airport in every other state that got two, you have the low-cost airlines out in the suburbs, and you have the wealthy airlines in the city. And Hartsfield-Jackson is doing what right now? Upgrading to the tune of $500 million and putting all that new pretty stuff over there. They putting it over there for a different clientele. And West Georgia is going to be the main artery to supply these two. Now, if you know that as a commissioner, or if you know that as a person being in charge, you're not going to be able to stop it to a certain point, because that's going to come down from the state. Chris Pumphrey is our economic development guy. He gets $50,000 for every warehouse he bring here. His salary is $120,000. He made $500,000 last year. Now, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's really talk about it. Let's be transparent. So what is his main focus? Is to bring you a warehouse. His entire staff, he was appointed by the state. It's no coincidence. No coincidence. So if you really want to get deep, understand what's happening to us. And if we don't begin to understand, we can't stop it. But guess what we can do? There's loopholes in every contract. There's loopholes everywhere. We got to figure out how to make Douglas County profitable and beautiful, and make
Terry,
being
one of
close
the
to
things
them
I want to
airports
say,
an asset
because
for
you
us.
have pointed out
So
a lot, right? But no, you know, and look, if you get this commissioner
Sorry
seat,
about that, right?
then you have to continue. A commissioner is also a teacher, right? Is also a teacher, okay? So you have to continue to teach the people, but you also have to what? You have to keep learning yourself, all right? So if you're learning and you're teaching, then you're doing. However, you know, I hear you saying that, you know, it's hard, or we can't, you know, we can't stop it. Let me tell you, the most powerful court in America is the court of public opinion. And I promise you, if we stop apologizing, okay?
Yes, it is.
So from this day forward, do not apologize for the wealth in District 3. Do not apologize for that. You're not going to see the people in Smyrna and Vinings apologizing for their wealth, okay? So don't apologize at number one, because I'm telling you, it teased the people off.
Right.
I am a member of District 3. It teased me off when I hear somebody walking around the edges about what District 3 is, or worried about somebody in District 1 saying, well, who cares, man? The bottom line is that's what you're running for. But what I can tell you is this right here, Terry.
Right.
Listen, say the parts out loud, all right? Educate the people. And guess what? Get the people on your side. Like you said, if you're going to be a commissioner, continue to have the meetings. And I promise you, if you speak the way you're speaking and you continue to speak the way you're speaking, because if you don't, if you get quiet, we have this Black Man's Roundtable episode to say Terry was pretty loud. He was pretty loud, but boy, we ain't heard nothing. Now he's like, well, you know, what's happening in the finance, you know, I'm just tell you, it ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. So anyway, let me get off this Kevin's category.
Right.
And,
Hold on, Rodney. Let me quote something,
yes, sir,
Rodney.
I hear you.
Rodney. Okay, I want to quote a famous African American philosopher, Mr. James Brown. He said, I didn't ask you to give me nothing. Open up the door, I will get it myself. And that's what Rodney's saying to you. That's what Rodney's saying to you. Open up the door, we'll get it ourselves. We don't need you.
That's right.
We don't need you.
And that's why I say, you know, one of the things, and it's something that probably, just so you understand, Rodney, a lot of people don't like me because I run candidates against people. And let me tell you why. Because when I came into Douglas County, there was no accountability. People were running unopposed. They voted whatever way they felt like. They voted whatever way they felt like. That's one of the reasons why I've had the hardest time getting into office. Because what I do is I don't run somebody against you because I don't like you. I run somebody against you because I know your voting record. I know what you did. And I know what you have done, and I know what you're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show everyone you can bleed. See, a lot of times the average person don't feel like they're capable of running for office. They don't feel like I ain't got time for that. I don't feel like doing that, or we don't have a lot of engagement because guess what? We see these commissioners as somebody just, we see the politicians, the governors and the senators and all of them. Oh my God, they're just so this and that, this and that. No, they put their pants leg on, and when it's all said and done, they gonna answer to a creator too.
Terry,
They gonna
not to
answer to
cut you off,
somebody. And so what
we
I
have
do
about
is
about 9 minutes or so. Well, we're gonna
go
shorten
ahead.
it
I'm
up, but
sorry.
I'm gonna tell
told you I
you,
run my
you are
mouth.
absolutely right in what you're
I
saying.
run
I
my
say all the
mouth.
time is that our community, we treat our legislators like our preachers, right? And we got to stop that. Look, the
Right.
bottom line is, I'm
Right.
not asking you for anything. I'm telling you, if you
Must.
want to ask somebody for something, go talk to your preacher. But if you want to tell somebody what to do, you tell your legislator,
Right.
and that's what a county commissioner basically, comes out to be, more of a legislator, and you tell them. But
Right.
we have this thing,
Right.
like you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. It's like, we treat our elected officials like clergy, and we have to stop that. The other side, you see, they don't do that.
Right.
It's like they yell and spit. They'll run them out. They'll throw something in you. Throw a
They'll run
bottle
them
at
out of
you.
town on
You
the
know what I'm
rail.
saying? And we sitting here and pray. So I feel you, brother. But I
They'll
just wanted
run
to
them
sum
out
it up
on
with
the
that, because
rail.
that's exactly what you were saying. And so, but we're going to go ahead on and move to infrastructure, because I want to make sure that you get Kevin. I think what we can do is, because and that's why I have those categories last, Kevin, is because those first ones can get real deep. So the last one that can get real deep, but we probably don't have to get so deep in, because we've went, and that's infrastructure and services. So Terry, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you just one from here. Address okay. Um,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
number 8 would
Say
be
what,
good,
Kevin?
Rodney. I said, I think number
Okay.
8
Okay.
should be
Yeah.
my last one.
Yeah. And there's only one for 8 anyway. So, but yeah, Kevin, you also, yeah, okay, the
Yeah.
social issues, yeah, I think we can skip that, yeah, because he's talked about so much of that already too. Yeah, so let me see.
Yes.
Okay, real quick. Well, you kind of talked about that as well. Okay, how do you plan to address? Hold up. No. I tell you what, Kevin, he's covered so much, which is good. Uh, I'm going to go, Kevin, to collaboration with other agencies. He talked about it a little bit, but he didn't talk about it, enough. So I
Gotcha.
want to go into that. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Terry, how do you intend to collaborate with other local, state, and federal agencies to address shared challenges and opportunities?
Well, one of our problems is the disparities between the city and county. We have a big disparity to where the city owes us a lot of money as a county. We do SDS services, so we provide a lot of things to the city that they don't have to have those services themselves, like the 911 call center, some of our fire stations, some of our other stuff. The collaborative effort to me, and I don't want to say it this way, I think we've collaborated with the city enough. And I'm gonna take this in a different direction, Rodney, because I go to those meetings. The county is kind of slick how they do things. They don't approve apartments, and they don't approve townhomes, and they don't approve liquor stores most times. So their hands are clean. So we have a process where we annex property to the city. So a majority of the stuff that you're angry about, we allow the city to let these developers we allow the city to come in and annex property, and then they do whatever they want to do with it. The city's out of land. They're out of land. They don't have any more space to grow. They're forced to have to build where they are. That's why the downtown development has to be done right there. So it's the county's land that's putting these apartments and townhomes and all that stuff. And that's why you'll go through certain areas and you'll be in the city and you'll be in the county. You go one street past. Because guess what? That's why. But we're responsible for the road still. They'll build the apartment, but we're responsible for the road, and we're responsible for schooling those individuals. So one of the issues is I love the city council members. I do. I love Nicole. I love Terry Miller. I love Rochelle. I think they've been awesome. But we have too long sat on our hands in the county and have allowed the city to do whatever they feel like doing. We haven't went to arbitration on not one piece of property to fight them on annexing out of the county. So that's where we're getting these liquor stores and we're getting all this other stuff from. So one of my things is I'd be more adversarial about the property annexations and allowing them to do it. And one of the other things how I want to collaborate with them, let's just be 110% honest. We need a comprehensive master plan that both the city and the county agrees upon. You can't have a city growing away and a county growing away and it's not matching up. When you ride through Douglas County, it's disjointed because we have not one master plan, we have 17, which allows builders and developers to sue us. And we can't stop them in court, and we'll lose in court. That's why a lot of your attorneys say, hey, you know, if we go to court, we hire these guys and they're our lawyers, and they don't want to go to court. They don't want to fight the annexations. They don't want to do, well, you're going to lose. You're going to lose because you have a master plan. I'll give you an example. Nicole Miller came to me. I was fighting against that 2 million square foot warehouse they're trying to put over by Academy Sports. They're trying to put 2 million square feet of warehouse over there. There will not be an exit over there until 2033. They're going to stick 1,800 trucks on that road right there. Have you ever tried to get out of Sam's?
Yes, sir.
Get out of Sam's and get out of that Walmart over there? Now you're going to stick 1,800 trucks over there. So GDOT is not projected until 2033 to put an exit, another exit right there to help with that overflow. So one of the problems is I went to Nicole and I said, hey, enough. I said, enough is enough. I said, you have an election coming up. And if you don't, I'm going to run somebody against you. And she said, well, we can't stop that because we don't have the ability to stop it. We always lose. I said, how do you know? You never tried. I've looked at your casework. It's never tried. So through election time, I ran candidates against 3 of them. I didn't run them against Nicole, but I ran 3 other candidates. And they took that company to trial. And guess what they won? They won because just for that section over there is a comprehensive plan that they can't change. So what they did was after the election, and most of my candidates lost, I must admit, they changed the comprehensive plan to allow that, and now they've approved the 2 million square foot of warehouse over there. And we already have another 8 million just sitting empty. What happens to warehouses? They become drug infestations when companies don't keep up with them. But the collaboration, I will get along with them, Rodney. I promise. There won't be no adversarial like fighting and all that. But it's time for the county to be the big brother.
Terry, because we're all 3 military veterans, right? We've been around. We've been to different places, okay? And when you say, you know, the collaboration, kind of what you're talking about, having the city and the county on one accord, it sounds quite a bit like consolidated government. I've lived where consolidated governments have existed, you know, throughout my military career over 20 years. And what I would say is this: you still end up with the same issue if you don't address what the issue is. And it doesn't matter if you have the city and the county on one accord, a consolidation of the government. Look, the bottom line, if you don't say, or you don't believe, or you don't look at the truth, which is where they live and where they live, and here's what's going to happen, it don't matter about it being consolidated. The resource is going to go, because the resource is going to go where non-melanated people like ourselves live. And it's just the fact. It's just the way that it is. And so what I'm saying to you is this, is that we have to address what the issue is. We have to say it out loud, and we have to stop, you know, chewing around the edges, chewing around the crumbs, and we really have to go in deep. And like I said, we're still using dog whistles while the other side is using bullhorns. And so, man, if we don't address it that way, Terry, it don't matter what. At the end of the day, when you walk out of the room with that consolidation of the government, city and county, the same thing is going to continue to happen. I will remind people before Kevin do his last category, his last question for the last category, I will remind people that, what was it, maybe 30, 35 years ago, Clayton County was a majority, a white county. I mean, it was hardly no, it was way majority. And look, there are some people that actually want to see what happened to Clayton County happen to Douglas County because of the demographics change. We know it. We have to say it out loud. And I know tomorrow night you got another target audience. And what I'm telling you is just say the part out loud.
Well, I want to make a clarification.
No. I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry for even. Okay, gotcha.
I want to do
yeah.
Okay. I wasn't saying dissolve the city. I was saying we need to sit down and come together on a comprehensive master plan. One, and say, okay, city, how do you want to develop what you have left? This is what we want to do. I'll give you an example. And I didn't mean to point at you. I'm sorry. I'll give you an example. There's a plot of land in front of Chapel Hill, the golf course, that's been being eyed by a lot of developers. That piece of land right there, when you go past there, I think it's like maybe 60 acres, I think. I could be over saying just before you get to that event hall or that church right there, I think there's like 60 acres right there. The city was flirting with an idea of putting nothing but apartments right there. And I spoke with someone from your subdivision about it. A couple people actually called me about it. And you guys had to fight it off. It was a big fight. The guy at the golf course was like, oh, we could deal with it. So that is the kind of thing, if you're going to do 60 acres right there, you have the disposable income right there to put a Whole Foods right there for that community who can afford it. If you want to really develop that land, because we know that land is going to get developed eventually, why not put a Whole Foods? Why not put a fresh market there? Why not put your French restaurant or Middle Eastern restaurant? Or why not put that right there for the people with the disposable income on that main road where a majority of your tax dollars is going up and down Chapel Hill Road? They have the money to do that, and it will service that area greatly. So one of the things, that's why I was saying, if we don't come together as a city and county and have one master plan that we all respect, then we're going to continue to develop this county unorthodox. When you go to, and I hate to keep saying this, when you go to Smyrna Vinings, it doesn't feel like DeKalb or Fulton. It feels like Douglas in a sense, with the homes and stuff, because they've placed the apartments in the proper place. They've placed entertainment in the proper place. Guys with distribution centers don't even consider Smyrna Vinings and Smyrna and Vinings. If they do, it's an old antiquated area that's off of Old Winn-Dixie Road, Winn-Dixie Highway. It's down that way. But they're tearing them down and they're building $700,000 townhomes on them. We have to do, like you said, as African Americans, we are in charge of this city and county now. You want to say it out loud? Let's say it out loud. Okay, black people, let's get our stuff together and let's stop pretending, as Kevin said. Let's stop apologizing for making $300,000.
Let's stop apologizing for being
and say
black.
We got the money. Let's do it here. So yeah. I'm willing to say it. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it.
Absolutely.
I just respect this platform a lot. So I hold you guys in very high regard.
Yeah,
so
and I appreciate it. Like I said,
I want my language to be
absolutely, man, because that's what I'm just saying. That
properly.
is what people want to hear, because we already know what's up. We need for the politicians, the people that's running for office or whatever, to just say it out loud. That is what I promise you. That is what the people want to hear. That is what our tagline for this show is. We'll see you out in those streets and those suites, because we're out there for real, for real. For real, I'm out there. I can't even tell you, man. And I'm just telling you
Right.
what they want to hear.
Right.
And like I said, I'm in District 3. Stop apologizing for what we do over here, what we've accomplished over here, and and just say it. But you're not going to hear these other communities apologizing for it. But we are a black and we are a blue county, and we need to act like it. We need to stop apologizing for it. That was hard work to get us this way. To get us where we are. Okay, Kevin, you got it, brother.
Okay, last one from me. Long-term vision. What is your long-term vision for District 3 and the county, and what steps do you plan to take to achieve it?
Long-term vision for me is to be the first. I would like to see Douglas County. This is something I've been dreaming of. I like to see Douglas County be the first Wi-Fi city. Google, we have Google here. We need to make Google begin to. They're doing it in certain cities in other states. I'd like to see us 100% wireless Wi-Fi. I'd like to see, this is long-term vision, autonomous cars, AI being used extensively here around to help make this county a lot better. They offered us that one time, a long time ago. I'd like for us to also become a destination for entertainment. Believe it or not, outdoor entertainment is the new thing. I'd like to see that mall turn into an outdoor entertainment facility like a Top Golf, a Main Event, and a park around it. We had an opportunity to have something, and they'll never tell you this. We had an opportunity. We got an opportunity to have IMG Academy here. I don't know if you guys ever heard of IMG
Oh,
Academy.
yeah.
IMG Academy is one of the biggest sports academies on the planet as far as high school talent and young talent goes. Well, guess what? IMG Academy wanted to build their new headquarters here in Douglas County. And we played around with them. And we were trying to force them to choose a builder that we preferred. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm not speaking something I don't know. They said to this guy, I'll build you whatever roads you want, but you got to choose this construction company. And IMG said, I can go anywhere in the United States, and no one else is going to put that on me. And we lost that. We also, when I was running for chairman, I really, really wanted. There's a complex in Birmingham, Alabama, that's changing the game. It's called the Birmingham Sports Complex. I think that Georgia has the top football recruits, basketball recruits. We have the best athletes on the planet, in side by side with Texas and Florida. I believe that if we had brought IMG Academy and we had brought a complex that actually held NCAA events, I'm talking about water polo, sports, everything. They do track meets. They do it all. I had a plan already laid out for a gentleman named Brian Harper. He's the track coach over at Chapel Hill. Brian Wilson. And we were laying out that plan, and I was going to submit that. It's time for us to begin to understand in West Georgia, Douglas needs to be the premier spot that Bremen, Whitesburg, everybody wants to come to. We need to be the downtown Atlanta to these people out west. And that's what we need to be. And we need to start acting like that. Because guess what? If we got a Top Golf, we're going to bring people all the way from Alabama. From Oxford, Anderson going to come this way. Because when that mall first opened, every tag in that mall parking lot used to be Cobb, Fulton, the Cab. We used to have all of that, and we lost it. We lost that. So we need to be the destination. I know some people that live out in Carrollton and Temple and Villa Rica that Douglas is the destination trip for them. I talked to one of my buddies in Villa Rica, and he said, hey, man, I'm finna make a trip to Douglas. I said, make a trip where? Man, you 25 minutes up the road. What are you talking about? But for them, Douglas is where you go when you can't get stuff out here. You go to Douglas. And we need to start acting like that. We need to start being the Atlanta or the city to West
Terry,
Georgia. We need to start being the capital of West Georgia.
Terry, we are
and
geographically.
That's my future plan for it.
We are in a geographic I mean, like a gold mine. Thank you, Kevin. We're
Gold
in a
mine.
geographic gold mine for that.
We're
But what I'm telling,
yes,
but
we
what
are.
I know that you know, based
Yes,
on the
we are.
way that you talk and you speak, you as a commissioner got to be able to deal with the politics and the large stick of the Atlanta politicians and even the Birmingham politicians, right? We're right in
Right,
between those two. And
right.
so what we need is a commissioner who's willing to stand up behind the pressure, from the political bullwhips of these, bigger cities and and do it. Look,
Right,
what's
right.
his name? The movie guy. Tyler Perry. We got Tyler Perry here,
Tyler.
to be able to help with some of these things, but we got to be able to reach out and
Hmm.
talk to these people and stuff. So I just wanted to let you know, man, that hey, it sounds great, but I tell you, dealing with those others, they would say outside agencies. That's why we got that question in here, and wanted to hear your viewpoint on how you would collaborate with outside agencies. But look, I think you laid it out. It's a great.
I'll say this, Rodney. I'm sorry. I'll say this. That's one reason why I finance my own campaign. It's not hard to fight those outside agencies. It's not hard, Rodney and Kevin. It's not hard. It's who you're willing to allow donate to you. It's are you willing to stand 10 toes on your own? I'm 15 grand in this thing. And guess what? I don't owe nobody. So can't nobody come tapping me on my shoulder and saying, hey, I need you to make sure that don't go through. I did that on purpose. I did it on purpose. Because if I'm a one-term chairman, then I'm a one-term chairman. That's so be it. But you're not going to tap me on my shoulder and tell me what to do. Anybody that knows me knows I'm going to be 10 toes down in whatever I do. Because guess what? When I die, I got to go see somebody bigger than all of y'all. I don't care. I don't care. I got to answer up there. So I'm going to do the right thing. So you guys don't know me that well, and you've never been around me, but those that do know me, that's why they don't want me. Because I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to play your game.
Yes, sir.
And I'm saying it. You asked me to be real. I'm going to be 100% real with you. I'm not going to play with you. I'm not going to play your game. I'll talk to you until you talk to me. I'll talk to you if you talk to me. I'll share ideas with you if you share ideas with me. I will listen to you. But when you clown, I'm going to put you in a clown's place. That's not trying to be mean. But what I am doing is I'm choosing the people. So guess what? If I win, guess who I have to listen to? I have to listen to the Rodneys and Kevins of the world. Because ain't
Well,
nobody else
Terry, I
tapped
tell
me
you
on
what,
my
brother, we
shoulder.
appreciate you coming out, coming on the round table. When you reached out to the round table, as you can see, we got back with you immediately. We didn't waste any time, right? Absolutely, there was no wasted time.
Yes, sir. You did. You
That's the
did.
next
You
day.
came
You
right
know,
there.
there's
I think
there's
you got
no
to me
there's
the
no
next
there's
day.
no hey, it is what it is, and Kevin and I, we want for everybody to have a voice. That's why it is an interview. It's not a forum. It's not a debate. It is an interview. You are interviewing. You are literally letting the
Yes,
people
sir.
know what you are, who you are, and that's why we form the questions the way we form them. Okay, and so and I think you were able to get out what you wanted to get out today. And Kevin, is there anything you want to say before I close everything out? Yes, sir.
Yes, two things. Um, Harking back to this, the hearing that we had when
Yes,
you
sir.
was being challenged for your
Yes, sir.
district.
Yes, sir.
And Rodney might smack me and throw me off the board for this one. But with two friends like the ones that you had, that
Them ain't no friends.
you don't need them people.
Let me tell you what.
They clown themselves. They
They did.
clown themselves.
They did.
And I
And
want to
let me
say
tell
this
you.
for your answer. Um,
Yes, sir.
I had to step back from what they were bringing up, because I could identify with what you were going through when I had my divorce.
Yes, sir.
I moved in 2 weeks, maybe 1 week. I had to move 6 times, Terry.
Right.
6
Yes, sir.
times.
Yes,
Because
sir.
people coming after me. I wound up having
Right.
to get a P.O. box. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
We on the
So
same
I,
page. We on the same
I
page,
knew
brother.
exactly. I knew exactly what you was going through.
That's good.
Sorry about that.
That
I had to get that
no,
in.
no, sir. I appreciate that. Let me tell you something. One of the things is, and I know you guys are closing this out. You know, when I tell you I'm 10 toes down, I mean it. When I ran for chairman, a lot of the Republicans voted for me because they just didn't like Ramona, and I didn't ask for that help. They voted for me, and one of the things they just hated Ramona. So I was new to politics, and I was a welcoming guy, and I was talking to everybody. But the reason that they came after me was because they said, "Hey, I heard you running for District 3, and we helped you a lot last time, so we're gonna expect you to, you know, play the game with us. When we call you, we expect you to answer that phone."
Say it.
And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it publicly. I said to them, "I don't dance when I don't want to dance. I listen to what music I want to listen to. You didn't give me not a dime, and so guess what? I don't owe you a damn thing, and I mean that." And the next day, I got that. I got that challenge.
They were
So
clowns.
I'm not
They
gonna.
were absolute
Yeah,
clowns.
straight clown. They were. It was so sad. One of them called me, and one of them direct messaged me like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean." And you know what?
Yeah.
I forgive you, but I understand you now.
Uh,
I don't. That don't mean I gotta hang with you. that don't mean I gotta. That don't mean I gotta rock with you. But I forgive you because God forgave me for a
So
lot of things.
Terry,
I forgive you, but
right.
that
so
don't mean
Terry
I'm
and
gonna
Kevin, I
forget.
appreciate the
And those
question,
aren't
or I
my
appreciate the
friends.
question and the comment. But no, it's okay because what I don't
Sorry about
see,
that.
like I said, right now, a lot of people are confused. Like, what are they talking about? Because we have to always understand that people are not. We are politicos. We kind of know everything that's what we're talking about right now, and so,
Right.
but it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want for you know, you clarified as what it was for those people that know what we're talking about. But right now, 90% of the people don't know what we're talking about. So, but anyway, I think you laid out the case for what you need to
Okay.
lay out. I think you had a good interview today, and so usually at this part is where I'll say. Let the people know where you want them to donate and volunteer. But but look, but maybe
Nah,
volunteer.
I'm good.
Let them know your website and your social media. Let the people know how
I
they
can
can
use
reach
some
you if they want to reach you
volunteers.
for volunteering or anything they want to do. Terry,
Yes, sir. Electerrysearcy2024.com is where I am. What I don't need is I don't need any funds. What I do need is volunteers. Volunteers are always needed, and it's not nothing major what I need because I think by the time I finish this just on my own with a couple of people that are already volunteering for me, I'll probably reach out of the 60,000 people in District 3, I've already probably reached about 45,000 of them. So I've touched them in some form or fashion already. So when I put my mind to something, we do it. So whoever wants to volunteer with me, understand you coming to work and you coming to serve. You ain't coming here to shine. You coming to work and you coming to serve. And we're gonna put these 10 toes on the ground and we going to the people. We ain't going to politicians. So it ain't glamorous what we doing. So we're gonna but I really would appreciate that. And I really want to say to you gentlemen right here, you
thank you,
guys
sir.
make me proud. I watch your episodes all the time. You make me proud of what you guys are doing. And when I say you make me proud, I mean that. I'm not just saying that. If anybody knows me, that's why, as you can see, I get a little fiery. But I had so much respect for this platform. It doesn't deserve ignorance. It deserves honesty and truth. And that's why when you said to me, I received
Yeah,
what you said to me, Rodney. When you say, stop playing with it, I took it. And you're
that's
right.
it.
Stop playing with it. Say it. Say it out loud. And when Kevin said, let's stop being ashamed, I felt convicted. because I was ashamed. I was ashamed to say it out loud that I make 300,000 or that we got this in our accomplishments. And that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to. That's why I hit you up so hard
Yeah.
right now. I hit you. I was like, I want to be on that platform. That's somewhere I want to be, because those are black men that I respect and admire. So, and I don't mean that just because I'm on here.
Yes, sir.
I've watched your
Look,
maturation
Terry, we
process
appreciate you being on, brother.
and how you've grown.
Like I
this
said,
thing.
we
And,
we
so,
try to be as inviting as we can. We just, Kevin made a James Brown, and we're 20 minutes in, but I think I think we're 20 minutes over.
Yes.
But you know what? I think people are gonna
I like that
continue to
analogy.
watch even with it being over, because after 60 minutes, man, everybody just drop off. But I think that you was engaging enough to where people will
I know
watch
people
these
gonna
last
tune out.
22 minutes or whatever that we went over. But what I can tell you is the other James Brown reference, since Kevin started with James Brown. What did he say? Say it loud. I'm black. I'm proud. It's District 3. It's Douglas
black
County,
and I'm
man. Let's
proud.
stop playing.
proud.
Let's stop playing, okay? For those people who are not going to
Yes,
vote
sir.
for you, they're not going to
Yes.
vote for you just the way
Yes.
that it is.
Right.
So look,
Right.
Mr. Terry L. Searcy, on behalf of Kevin Evans, brother, we appreciate you coming out. And until the next time, we will see you out in those streets and in those suites. Peace.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Don't forget to check us out on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Do you have show ideas or want to be on the show? Shoot us an email at blackmansroundtable@gmail.com. And please follow us on Facebook.